Hey y'all, so I've gotten a couple of requests on what poses you can do when you first wake up in the morning. So I'm going to show you a few yoga poses you can do when you roll out of bed just to help loosen up some of those muscles that might get tight and tense overnight. So we'll start with forward fold. Say you just roll out of bed. First thing you do is you stand up and you stretch. And you can just come straight to a forward fold. You can interlace those fingers above you and push your palms towards the ceiling. And then release with an exhale as you fall down to a forward fold, bringing a slight bending into your knees, maybe even a deep bend into your knees. And just grabbing your elbows here. Letting that head and neck fall down, releasing some of that tension in the lower back, maybe in the shoulders even. And you can kind of rock side to side here. Releasing that lower back even more, releasing those hamstrings. Then you can release your elbows, roll back up to a standing position, inhaling. Exhaling, moving the hands to heart center. You can always start with some sun salutations. Sun salutations are pretty much self-explanatory. They're about saluting the sun, and they kind of work and stretch the whole body in its entirety. So you're starting your mountain pose. Shoulders are rolled down and back away from the ears. Firmly planted on the ground. Inhaling those arms up. Stretching back for a small back bend, letting that head fall back, really opening that chest up. Exhaling, returning back down to your forward fold. Feel free to grab the elbows again if you like. You release the elbows, take your fingertips, plant them on the ground as you come up to a half lift. Your fingertips can stay on the ground, or you can take your hands and place them on the shins, having a nice flat back with the neck in alignment with the spine. Gaze is maybe a foot or so in front of your toes. Inhaling your half lift. Exhale, bend into the knees as you lower those hands down in front of the feet and step back to a plank position. And if you'd like to modify, feel free to drop down to those knees. You'll take an inhale. Exhale, lower down to the belly. Push into those hands, bring the tops of the feet flat. Roll those shoulders down and back for up dog. Now here's a good opportunity to stretch the belly out. You want to engage the thighs a little bit. And you can even kind of rock the hips from one side to the other. You'll find stillness back in the center, and then you'll make your way up to a down dog. Lifting those hips up and back, pushing through the hands, letting that head relax down, pushing the chest towards the thighs and the heels towards the ground. Taking a couple full breaths here. And for the second half of your sun salutation, you'll take your gaze, bring it up in between the hands, step those feet up behind the wrists. Inhale back up to your half lift, either fingertips on the ground or hands on shins. Exhale, lowering back down to your forward fold. And then bringing those arms with you as you roll back up to a standing position. Hands meet up above you, small back bend. Bring those hands down to heart center. And we'll circle those arms around, inhaling them up. Exhaling, bringing them back down to heart center, just to give our shoulders a little bit more of a stretch. Release them, bring them back up. Exhale, back down to heart center. One more time, inhale those arms up. But this time, we'll fall all the way back down to a forward fold. Let those hands down. Let's step those feet straight back to a down dog. Finding a great down dog stretch here. You can pedal those feet out one at a time just to give those hamstrings and calves a stretch. come up on both tippy toes and then lower the heels back down. Then we'll make our way down to a table position. From here, we'll work into some cat-cow, a great stretch to help loosen up your spine. We'll push into the hands, round the spine, bring the chin down to the chest, tuck the tailbone under. We'll inhale, bring the chin up, flip the tailbone upward. So you take a nice big inhale here as the chest opens, and exhale back down as the chest closes. Moving from cat pose to cow pose. Inhale cow, exhale cat. Just nice, easy, fluid movements here. You can bring your spine back to neutral, then bring those big toes together. Start to shift your hips back towards your heels as we come down to child's pose. Extending those arms out in front, resting the forehead down. This is stretching our knees, stretching our back, our shoulders even as our arms are extended out. And you can always find some movement in your child's pose as well, swaying from one side to the other. Just giving that body a chance to loosen up. Find stillness back in the center. I like to get a good shoulder stretch in the morning. So I like to come to what's called rabbit pose. So I bring my knees together while my hips are still sitting back on top of my heels. My chest lowers down over my thighs. The top of my head comes to the mat, and then I extend my arms up behind me, and it looks like this. Now, a modification for your rabbit pose, if you're not quite at a point where your hips can reach all the way back towards your heels, just lift your tailbone up. Just getting a nice stretch here in the shoulders. Feel free to release those hands and just let those arms rest down at your sides too. And last but not least, I like to finish with an easy seated forward bend. Taking my legs and extending them out in front. I like to cross my ankles behind me as I sit back onto my tailbone. And extend my arms out, onto my sits bone, and extend my legs out. And I sweep my arms up with an inhale, making sure I have a nice tall straight back here, lengthening my spine before I bend at my hips over my legs. Just letting my hands fall as far as they feel like falling that day. If you can reach your feet, feel free to grab the outsides of the feet. And try not to lock your knees out here if you can help it. And as you hold it here, hopefully your back loosens up, hopefully those hamstrings loosen up, and it can allow you to melt down into your seated forward bend even further. Release those feet, roll back up to a seated position, one vertebrae at a time. And that completes a morning stretch routine. Hopefully this is helpful for you, and hopefully it can help loosen up your body in the morning before you start your day. Thanks for watching. Namaste.